I request the others to join the YouTube live session. If you know someone who isn't able to join, kindly tell them to join through YouTube. The link will be shared in the chat box soon. Kindly keep your camera and mic off for the entire duration of this webinar to avoid any distractions. Please do not write your name or qualification in the chat box. A feedback form will be provided towards the end of this session for recording attendance and issuing certificates. Before that, we will also have a question answer round where you can ask your doubts in the chat box and we will convey it to the speakers who will answer your questions. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers for the evening. Our first speaker is Advocate Rohit Pandey, practicing in the Supreme Court of India and Delhi High Court. Sir has formerly been the acting secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association, and he has also held a number of responsible positions in the bar. He represents the central government and the government of Uttar Pradesh as well. He has handled some remarkable cases and is associated with a number of social causes as well. Our next speaker for today is Advocate Rahul Kumar, who is also a practicing advocate in the Supreme Court of India. His practice areas include constitutional laws, environmental laws, company laws, criminal and civil matters, just to name a few. Sir has represented the Union of India, State of Bihar, State of Uttar Pradesh, State of Haryana before the Supreme Court as panel counsel, and a lot of government bodies like Central Pollution Control Board, Delhi Pollution Control Committee before the Delhi High Court as standing counsel. Currently, he is representing clients like Banquet Association of Delhi, Steel and Timber Trade Merchant Association of Delhi, and Okhla Industries Association. He is also the legal advisor to Kirloskar Iron and Ferrous India Private Limited, G&D India Private Limited, VLCC, Nagaro Software Private Limited, and many more. It is a pleasure to have you with us today, sir. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Rohit sir to take over the platform. So you're not audible.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Today, we are here for rules of drafting, basic rules of drafting. I'll tell you 10 important elements of legal drafting. The process of drafting operates in two planes, the conceptual and the verbal. Learn how to improve your legal drafting skills. Legal drafting can be defined as the synthesis of law and fact in a language form. This is the essence of process of drafting. All three characteristics rank equally in importance. It is the development and the preparation of legal instruments such as constitutions, statutes, regulations, ordinances, contracts, wills, indentures, trusts, and leases, etc. The process of drafting in two planes, I'll tell you, the conceptual and the verbal. Besides seeking the right words, the draftman seeks the right concepts. Drafting, therefore, is the first thinking and second composing. Drafting in a legal sense means an act of preparing of legal document like notices, contracts and affidavits, etc. एक अच्छा लॉयर बनना, एक बड़ा लॉयर बनना अगर है तो आपकी अच्छी ड्राफ्टिंग होनी चाहिए। अगर एक आपको अच्छा जज बनना है और एक आपको अच्छा डिसीजन देना है तो आपकी ड्राफ्टिंग अच्छी होनी चाहिए। सबसे पहले ड्राफ्टिंग करते हैं तो पहले अपने दिमाग से और अपने दिमाग में वो तैयारी करनी है, हमें वो प्लानिंग करनी है, हमें वो कंसेप्ट तैयार करना है, हमें सोचना है। कोई भी क्लाइंट अगर आपको कोई ड्राफ्ट देता है, कोई डॉक्यूमेंट देता है, तो उसका आपको पहले, सबसे पहले यू हैव टू थिंक ऑन इट, व्हाट इज दिस, व्हाट आर द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, क्या लिखा है उसमें, पहले उस माइंड में आपको रखना है, उसकी तैयारी आपको पहले माइंड से सोचना है, फिर उसको उसके पेपर पे लाके रखना है, उसकी ड्राफ्टिंग करनी है। फिर ये देखना होगा हमको कि क्या हमारे क्या है वो राइट्स क्या वायलेट हो रहा है, हमारे राइट्स का वायलेशन क्या है, हम कोर्ट से रिलीफ क्या मांग रहे हैं, हमारे क्या सेक्शन है। ज्यूरिडिक्शन की बात अगर आप करेंगे, आप मेंटेनेबिलिटी की अगर बात करते हैं आप, ये सारी चीजें आपको पहले अपने दिमाग में रखना है, सोचना है, फिर इसके बाद ड्राफ्टिंग पे जाना है। ड्राफ्टिंग अगर आप करेंगे तो, अगर लॉयर समझ के अगर आप बन के अगर आप ड्राफ्टिंग करते हैं तो नहीं कर पाएंगे आप, तब वो ड्राफ्टिंग अच्छी नहीं बन पाएगी। आप जज बन करके भी सोचिए, आपको सिर्फ लॉयर बन के सोचना नहीं है जब ड्राफ्ट कर रहे होंगे, आपको जज बन करके भी सोचना होगा जब आप ड्राफ्ट करना है। इस बहुत सारी चीजें, जब केस, कोई भी केस करेंगे, उसका आउटकम, उसका जब आप खुद भी कन्विंस नहीं हो सकते, हो पा रहे हैं, आपको अपने आप को पहले कन्विंस करना है, फिर आप कोर्ट को कन्विंस करेंगे, जज को कन्विंस करेंगे, तभी आपके फेवर में, तभी अपने क्लाइंट को हम रिलीफ दिला पाएंगे। तो ये ड्राफ्टिंग आपकी एक ऐसी चीज है कि ड्राफ्टिंग से ही आपको रिलीफ मिलेगा। कभी कभी आप देखते होंगे जिसकी कभी ड्राफ्ट, कभी जजेस, कभी कोर्ट भी आपको अप्रिशिएट करती है। अगर आप, मैं देखता हूं लोगों को कि कभी वो अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कि आप कितनी अच्छी ड्राफ्टिंग है। ड्राफ्टिंग ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि जजेस को समझ में आए, ड्राफ्टिंग ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि क्लाइंट को समझ में आए, खुद को समझ में आए। तो दीज आर द थिंग्स, आपको ज्यूरिडिक्शन पे मेंटेनेबल है कि नहीं है, वो सारी चीजें आपके दिमाग में जब तक नहीं आएगी तब तक आप ड्राफ्टिंग अच्छी नहीं कर पाएंगे। जो पॉइंट्स हैं आपको, जो मैंने बताया कि 10 पॉइंट ऐसे हैं, 10 पॉइंट्स, बी क्लियर एज टू व्हाट द डॉक्यूमेंट मीन्स टू से, डज नॉट मीन टू से, नीड नॉट से। Make yourself well versed with various provisions of laws the legal documents deals with. क्लियर रखना है आपको कंसेप्ट क्लियर रखना है कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं। आपको ड्राफ्टिंग करनी है तो उसके लॉज क्या है, उसके सीक्वेंस क्या है, उसी बेस पे ही आप अपनी ड्राफ्टिंग करेंगे। ये आपका कंसेप्ट क्लियर होना चाहिए। एक पॉइंट, रिमूव द एम्बिग्यूटी, ट्राई टू क्लियर ऑल द एम्बिगुअस इंस्टांसेस फ्रॉम द डॉक्यूमेंट। द स्टेटमेंट्स मेड इन द डॉक्यूमेंट शुड नॉट कम्युनिकेट मोर देन वन कंसेप्ट। अगर आप 2 to 6 में जाते हैं, देखते हैं जब आप, तो उसमें भी आपको रिट्स होते हैं, उसमें 4 तरीके के रिट्स हैं। आपको पता होना चाहिए कि वो मेंटेनेबल है कि नहीं। आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि जो अथॉरिटी है, जो वो ऑर्डर कर रही है आपके अगेंस्ट में, वो कहां लाई करेगा, किस कोर्ट में लाई करेगा, किस सेक्शन में जाना होगा, किस आर्टिकल में जाना है। सिविल सूट में जा रहे हैं आप, तो सिविल सूट में क्या टाइम बार्ड है कि नहीं है, उसका एक अलग प्रोविजन है, उसका एक अलग ड्राफ्टिंग है। तो और कंफ्यूजन नहीं होना चाहिए। आपका इंप्रेशन कोर्ट्स में अगर ठीक नहीं रहा तो फिर आप एक एम्बेरसमेंट फील होगा, डिमोरलाइज होंगे आप, इंकरेजमेंट आपको नहीं मिलेगा, लोग आपको देख रहे होंगे। be precise. The matter to be covered by the draft should be precise and concise. It must convey the complete message for which it is prepared. The reader should be inspired by it. आपकी ड्राफ्टिंग बहुत ही टू द पॉइंट होना है, प्रिसाइज होना है, रखना है उसमें। आप उसका जो क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ है, क्वेश्चन ऑफ फैक्ट के बेसिस पे आप क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ फ्रेम करते हैं। ड्राफ्टिंग आपको बहुत ज्यादा उसको ऑर्नामेंटल वर्ड्स में नहीं रखना है। ऐसी चीजों को लेकर चलना है जिससे कि आपको आसानी से कोर्ट्स को डिसीजन देने में, कोर्ट्स को भी हेल्प होगा जब आप उनको समझा रहे होंगे, जब आप अपने आर्गुमेंट्स को उस लेंथ पे जा रहे होंगे। Clarity. There must be clarity and preciseness not only in each sentence but also in overall presentation of the draft. There must be nexus between sentences and the different paragraphs. The draft shall be in sequence and relevant to the subject matter. आपकी क्लैरिटी, आपकी सीक्वेंस ऐसा नहीं है कि 2020 का 2021 का कोई डॉक्यूमेंट है उसको आप पहले लगाएंगे। अगर 1990s का डॉक्यूमेंट है तो आपको सीक्वेंस, आपको जो लिस्ट ऑफ डेट्स है क्रोनोलॉजिकली आपको लेके चलना पड़ेगा। आपका जो बेस है, आपका जो ड्राफ्टिंग का बेस है, वही आपका बेस। आज अगर आपने एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट में एक बेस बना रहे हैं, ड्राफ्टिंग बना रहे हैं, वही ड्राफ्टिंग आपकी हाई कोर्ट जाएगी, वही ड्राफ्टिंग आपकी सुप्रीम कोर्ट। वो फाउंडेशन है, वो नींव है आपकी। अगर आपने वहां कभी कभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट रिमांड कर देती है, कभी कभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट कहती है, हाई कोर्ट कहती है, आपने नीचे क्यों नहीं बोला? आपने क्यों नहीं आर्गुमेंट्स पे आपने बात करी? आपने क्यों डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं लगाया जब आपके पास था? कंप्लीट जस्टिस अगर क्लाइंट को देना है तो यू हैव टू बी केयरफुल व्हेन यू आर गोइंग टू ड्राफ्ट। अदरवाइज आप खुद को भी नहीं माफ कर पाएंगे। लगेगा कि आपको कहीं ना कहीं मेरी गलती थी कि जिससे हमें रिलीफ मिल सकती थी उस कोर्ट से, और अगर कोर्ट ने नहीं अगर कंसीडर किया उस लॉ पॉइंट्स को, तो हमारे लिए हाई कोर्ट में ऑप्शन है हमारे पास। अदर जो हमारे हायर अथॉरिटी, हायर कोर्ट्स हैं, उस पर हम जाकर के अपने रिलीफ लेने का अटेम्प्ट करते हैं। यूनिलैटरलिज्म, be prepared for waiting review without necessarily accepting casual and non-contextual suggestions. Clarity as to the bare minimum content you require for protecting and safeguarding your interests has to be adhered to. आपको रिजिड नहीं होना है, हमें ईगो नहीं बना के रखना है। हमें क्लाइंट से भी, हमें अथॉरिटीज से भी सजेशंस लेने हैं, ओपिनियन लेने हैं अपने ड्राफ्टिंग के लिए। हम कभी कभी कहते हैं ना कि हम ही सब जानते हैं। जरूरी नहीं है कि आपका थॉट प्रोसेस आपका ठीक है, दूसरे का भी हो सकता है। क्लाइंट तो स्पेशली वो मास्टर होता है फैक्ट का, क्योंकि वो देख रहा होता अपने केस को, समझ रहा है, उसको बेसिक, उसको नॉलेज उतनी होती है कि मेरे केस में क्या है। उसको खुद भी पता होता है कि वो कहाँ गलत है, वो कहाँ सही है, लॉ क्या उसके लिए है। मैंने पहले भी बोला कि लॉयर की आइडेंटिटी सिर्फ एक आदमी से होती है, वो है क्लाइंट। आपकी आइडेंटिटी अगर आप क्लाइंट नहीं है तो आपकी आइडेंटिटी आपकी लॉयर की नहीं होगी। जब होता है तो आपको लगता है कि पहले जब उसको कन्विंस नहीं कर पाएंगे आप, तो आपको कोर्ट को कैसे कन्विंस करेंगे, अपनी ड्राफ्टिंग में कैसे वो सब बातें कहेंगे। तो प्राइम ड्यूटी आपकी है, और जो आपका जो टारगेट है, आपका 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 जो सबसे पहला जो आपको टेस्ट करना है आपको अपने आप में, वो जब क्लाइंट आपके सामने होता है, जब फाइल आपको दे रहा होता है, तब आप उस समय कन्विंस करना एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क होता है। वो आपको जब आपको फीस देता है, आपको लॉयर इंगेज करता है, तब आपको लगता है कि हाँ ये मेरा लॉयर है, ये मेरा क्लाइंट है, मैं उसका लॉयर हूँ, मुझे कोर्ट में रिप्रेजेंट करना है। तो सारे पॉइंट्स को हमें मेंशन करना है। हमें जितनी भी चीजें हमें मिल सकती हैं एक ड्राफ्टिंग में, ड्राफ्टिंग का एक बहुत ही अब एक अलग ही लोग कहते हैं, मुझसे पूछते हैं, जूनियर्स भी पूछते हैं, इंटर्न्स भी पूछते हैं कि सर कहाँ से स्टार्ट करूं, कहाँ से खत्म करना है, इसे एंड कहाँ करना है। सर एक फॉर्मेटिंग है, उस फॉर्मेटिंग पे आपको पहले, आप जब तक आप उस फॉर्मेट को नहीं समझेंगे, आप वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट हो सकता है, वो हाई कोर्ट हो सकता है, वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में अगर करनी है, अगर आपको ट्रिब्यूनल्स में भी करनी है, तो आपकी वो जो फॉर्मेटिंग है और आपकी जो प्रैक्टिस है, आपको कंटेंट्स कहां से मिलेंगे, आपको नंबर ऑफ ड्राफ्टिंग से मिलेंगे, नंबर ऑफ फॉर्मेट, नंबर ऑफ केसेस हैंडल करने से मिलेंगे, नंबर ऑफ जजमेंट पढ़ने से मिलेंगे। मैंने इतना भी बोला कि एक दिन में आपको अगर एक जजमेंट आपको एक दिन रोज पढ़ना होगा। देखिए वो जजेस एक राइटर है, वो कितने एक जजमेंट में कितनी चीजें होती हैं, उसके फैक्ट्स, उसकी स्टोरी, उसके सेक्शंस, उसके जितने भी लॉ है वो होता है, जितने उसमें अथॉरिटीज होती हैं, जिसमें उसमें केस लॉ होती हैं, उसमें जितने जजमेंट्स होते हैं, क्या मेंशन नहीं होता उसमें, कितने एविडेंसेस होते हैं, कितने क्रिमिनल केसेस में आप जाइए, सिविल मैटर्स में जाइए, कितनी चीज आपको एक जजमेंट में मिलता है, और फिर उसके बाद उसकी फाइंडिंग मिलती है, उसका कंक्लूजन मिलता है, whether you are right, you are wrong, this way or that way. Remember of chronological. If the document is supplementary to any other master documents, make sure to comply with master documents and other supplements as well. If needed, draft the details of the other documents in a chronological order. Systematic. सबसे पहले कोई फाइल अगर आपके पास आती है तो उसके पेपर को आपको एक एक पेज को आपको देखना है, उसको अलग अलग करके पिनअप करके आपको साइड में रखना है जब आपको ड्राफ्टिंग के लिए बैठना है। फ्रॉम द डे वन से जो स्टोरी स्टार्ट हुई है उसको लेके चलना है। स्टोरी अगर आपने एक सीक्वेंस में रख लिया, क्रोनोलॉजिकली रख लिया, फिर आपको जाना होगा लॉ पे, जो आपके एक्ट्स बने, जो आपके लॉज हैं, किसमें आपको फाइल करना है, किस सेक्शन में, कौन से सेक्शन में आपको क्या उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन है, उसका वो देखना है। मिसलेनियस एप्लीकेशंस है बहुत सारी, एक कोई केस फाइल होता है उसको रिप्लाई फाइल करना है, आपको रिजॉइंडर फाइल करना है, आपको उसका रिबटल करना है, पैरावाइज करके करना है, आपको किसी भी कोई भी अगर आपके अगेंस्ट कोई केस फाइल है तो आपको पैरावाइज बनाना है, उसको कंफ्यूज नहीं करना है। अगर आपने कोई भी एक्स्ट्रा वर्ड्स या आपने ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन कर दिया तो यू कैन बी फेल। कंफ्यूजन नहीं करना है हमें अपनी ड्राफ्टिंग में। Define important things. Include a chapter of definitions to define and explain the important technical concepts relating to the document. Make sure to adhere the definitions throughout the document. The chapter containing the definitions is placed at the beginning of the documents. शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स, बहुत सारे जब आप जजमेंट देखते हैं कभी शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स में होता है, हियर इन आफ्टर करके होता है, देखो उसको आपको अब जब करोगे तो उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं, बहुत उसका अब एक फुल फॉर्म में होता है, जो शॉर्ट फॉर्म में करते हैं बनाते हैं, उसको आपको एक कहीं मेंशन करना पड़ेगा, सो दैट कि आप उसको उसी तरीके से शॉर्ट फॉर्म में कंटिन्यूस को मेंशन करेंगे अपने ड्राफ्ट में. Adaptability. The matter to be included in a draft must be adaptable to the factual position, to the circumstances of the case, and feasible, suitable to the enforcement. जो annexes लगेंगे, जो annexes होंगे आपको, वो आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपके पास हैं, वो आपको उसी सीक्वेंस में लेके चलते हैं. Lucidity. The language and words used while drafting must be lucid, simple, and appropriate to the situation. There should not be longer sentence or paragraphs. It must convey the message involved in it to a person of ordinary prudence. The language must be polite and make the other side form a good opinion. वही काम करना है जिसमें क्लाइंट को समझ में आए, वही वैसी ड्राफ्टिंग करनी है जिसमें कोर्ट को आसानी हो डिसीजन देने में. अपने पैराग्राफ में का कोई इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं चाहिए, हमें कोई इंटरप्रिटेशन अपने पैराग्राफ में इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं चाहिए, उसका क्लियर कट मीनिंग चाहिए, क्लियर कट मीनिंग चाहिए, क्लियर कट मीनिंग होनी चाहिए, इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं करना है अपनी ड्राफ्टिंग में. Be logical so that the risk of omission and repetition is minimized. Comply with the incidental mandatory requirements such as stamping of documents, registrations, vetting, etc. Respect precedent and forms without converting yourself into the mechanical follower, so that allegations like non-application of mind or cut and paste technologies can be avoided. So these are the points. कुछ पॉइंट्स ऐसे भी हैं जो रूल्स, कुछ फॉलोइंग जो सेट ऑफ रूल्स है उसको फॉलो करना है. वन बाय वन मैं आपको बताता हूँ. बिफोर मेकिंग ए ड्राफ्ट, the design of it should first be conceived. One should make sure that none of the facts are omitted or admitted at random. Negative statements should generally be avoided. Technical language should be followed. The legal language employed should be precise and accurate. Draft should be readily intelligible. Care attention should be placed on the rules of legal interpretation and the case law pertaining to the related matter. The drafted document should be clearly understood by a person who has competent knowledge of the subject matter. The draft should be self-explanatory as far as possible. The draft should be divided into paras and each para should contain a distinct subject matter. Arrangement of facts should be done logically. Use numbers and letters for sub-clauses and paragraphs. Choices of words should be such that they easily convey the meaning of the writer. The words used should reflect politeness in order to convey more in a kind, natural, and justifiable manner. The draft should be read once and twice before passing it for consideration. मुझे लगता है कि मुझसे ज्यादा आपको और अच्छे से समझाने के लिए राहुल जी है हमारे बीच में, उनको बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है और मैंने इनसे रिक्वेस्ट की थी कि राहुल जी फ्यूचर के एक टॉप लॉयर भी हो सकते हैं हमारे इस बीच में जितने भी अभी नए इंटर्न्स हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं। और आज तो हम लोग हैं जो जितना करना था हम लोगों ने सोसाइटी के लिए किया और कर भी रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है कि अब आने वाले टाइम पे हमारे बीच में जजेस भी होंगे, टॉप के लॉयर भी बनेंगे, तो मुझे लगता है कि आप और अच्छे से आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं। तो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग मी एंड आई लाइक टू एक्सप्रेस माय सिंसियर थैंक्स टू शिल्पी यादव जी जो बहुत ही एक्टिव है और इनका तो हमेशा फोन आता है तो कहती हैं कि सर हम लोगों के लिए क्या क्या प्लानिंग है, हमेशा ये कुछ ना कुछ इनोवेटिव करती रहती हैं। शिल्पी यादव, जैस्मिन एंड मनिक जी and team of Legal Award for inviting me to this webinar, and I feel honored to be a part of this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohit Bhai, for explaining so lucidly about the steps which are to be taken for the purpose of drafting. None could have done better. You explained it in a very lucid manner, easily understandable to all. I was actually glued to it. It was a new experience for me. Again, maybe after 15 years, I'm hearing these things. It was really nice. Thank you so much for sharing it. Thank you so much. So friends, here I'll be touching probably 2-3 issues without taking much of your time. First of those issues would be importance of and significance of internship. As most of you are budding lawyers, students, taking part in internship programs, or already qualified the LLB and into practice. So beginning years are more or less like internship, maybe paid internship. So here my emphasis goes on the issue of internship. We are advocates. We want to be advocates. We want to be good lawyers, right? So from where we can nurture and harness our skills of advocacy. We study in a law college where moot courts are provided. They help us in getting into the groove of becoming a lawyer. But to understand the functions of a court or how to prepare a legal document, among various other things, you got to be in a position to learn. And that learning comes from internship. And there is no better way to learn while you are still studying. In our times, internship was a kind of alien subject. I myself did my internship with Singhanias and Company LLP and few other advocates and firms. That was really, really helpful. I got the feel while in first year, I tend to visit the courts. In second year, I started taking part in proceedings. Though I was not allowed to speak, I was standing there. I was assisting the attorneys, I was assisting the advocates, and I was trying to learning. I was learning the basic body language, how lawyers behave, how lawyers conduct themselves in the court or in the offices, because these are part and parcel. These are part and parcel of the skill set that you are going to possess. if you are not possessing these skill sets, then there would be a problem. There would be a problem. Clients will create question marks on your abilities. Clients not only goes for the legal knowledge or legal acumen that you have, but also goes by the conduct that you have, the conduct that you display. So, internship plays a very significant part in that. मेरा मानना है, जहां तक मेरी पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस की बात अगर आती है, मुझे शुरू में बहुत बुरा लगता था कि लोग इंटर्न से इतना काम करवाते हैं और पैसे नहीं देते हैं या बहुत कम पैसे देते हैं. When I joined Singhania's, I was like, यार इतने तो पैसे मुझे दे दो कम से कम, ताकि मेरे पेट्रोल के तो एक्सपेंसेस निकल जाएं. And tell you what, I worked hard and after 15 days, I got an email from the partner with whom I was associated to for the internship. He fixed a sum of rupees 7,000 that was used in 2004 and 2003 times. That was massive. I was like, okay, if you work hard, if you show that you have the ability, if you show that you can hone your own skills, you can possess some skills, but you need to hone those skills. And if you are able to hone those skills, then you are likely to succeed. I'm not saying that is the mantra to succeed. No, that is not the mantra. Mantra is always and shall always remain the hard work. There is no substitute to that. But if you are possessing the skill and you are sharpening your own skill sets, then you are likely to succeed. And that is one of the first steps of our profession, that is advocacy. Now, internship teaches you many things. If you get the opportunity to sit with your senior during the time conferences take place, not this kind of conference, but the conversation that takes place with the client, or the briefing, whether the conversation takes place between counsels, then you will learn many things. Again, the conduct is most important part. While taking a brief or while delivering a brief, what are the issues that you should be keeping in your mind? What are the questions of law which you should be prepared with? How to go ahead with all these things? These internship is your first school after law school. In the law school, you are learning about application of law. In the internship program, you are learning about application plus implementation of law. How to implement it. But before implementation of law, as Mr. Rohit Pandey rightly said, a lawyer is known by his client. So you need to have clients. From where you will get your clients? When you will learn the techniques, when you will learn the tricks of the trade by joining as intern at some platform, like someone must have joined. Mr. Rohit Pandey himself is a very good senior. I know him personally. He is a very good senior, and he gives time, and also he shares his knowledge, wide range of knowledge with the interns. So you must have been feeling benefited. And once you are crossing this first step, you will realize that someday you are going to occupy a chair and you are going to have the interns. It may be that in some offices, better treatment is not meted out to the lawyers. That's why we call it struggling phase. Every one of us, Mr. Rohit Pandey, I myself, we all have gone through these phases. Starting first year or second year of our profession is full of struggles, because you do not have any clients when you start your profession. You are dependent upon your senior. And when you get a client, how will you handle that client? Again, that internship, the knowledge taken from the internship comes into picture. There you have already learned how to communicate with the client, how to manage with the client, how to command a fee with the client. All these things are being taught during or being learned during the course of internship. Law is very vast, very vast. It's like an ocean. It's like an ocean. No one can say that he is a master of law. No one. people are good enough to be master of a field, maybe 2 fields, maybe 5 fields. But law in itself is ocean. You need to swim in it. आपको इससे तैर कर पार करना है. आप कैसे तैरोगे? तैरने की शुरुआत कहाँ से होती है? इंटर्नशिप से होती है. आपको अपनी बॉडी लैंग्वेज से लेकर के, अपने लीगल एक्यूमेन के यूटिलाइजेशन से लेकर के, अपने प्रेजेंटेशन तक के सफर को इंटर्नशिप में ही सीखना होता है. उसके बाद आप वकालत सीखते हैं, वकील बनना नहीं सीखते हैं. तब तक आप वकील बन चुके होते हैं. फर्क होता है. वकील बनने के पहले आपको वकील बनना आ जाना चाहिए. और इसीलिए मैं इनकरेज करता हूं लोगों को कि वो इंटर्नशिप की तरफ जाएं. पैसे मिले ना मिले वो इमटेरियल है. एक मूवी आई थी 3 इडियट्स. उसमें एक जो मेन कैरेक्टर है उसने बोला था कि ज्ञान बट रहा है, जहां से बट रहा है वहां से ले लो. तो ज्ञान लेते जाओ, सीखते जाओ. Try and learn every bit, every moment of your life, because that is how your career is going to progress and flourish. And then you will get a time, you will get an opportunity like Mr. Rohit Pandey here has, where he can sit in, where he can have a battery of interns and juniors and have a place in the society and name in the legal fraternity. The beginning of all those things, this journey starts from the internship itself. Now, I'm going to touch down on the second topic, which to my mind goes for as power of the courts. In between, if any one of you has any queries, he can put it forward, he or she can put it forward, so that we have already covered 2 topics. So if any queries are there, we would like to answer those first. Ms. Devdatta Das?
Yes, sir. I will request the participants, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. I will convey it to sir.
All right. So shall we wait for it, or shall we take another topic forward?
So we can move forward. Oh, there is one question. In which court internship should be started?
All right.
End of the session, we will take it. Huh?
Yes, we'll be taking the question answer round towards the end of the session.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So now I'll be dwelling on the issue of powers of the court, or hierarchy of the courts, rather, not powers of the court, rather hierarchy of the courts. That will cover power of the courts. So most of you, while studying the law, you would have came across a term, court of first instance. पहली कोर्ट जिसे बोलते हैं, कोर्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस. सिविल मैटर में भी आता है, क्रिमिनल मैटर में भी आता है. दैट इज द ट्रायल कोर्ट. दैट इज द कोर्ट ऑफ, अगर हम यूपी की बात करें तो वो सब डिवीजन में आता है. अगर हम महाराष्ट्र की बात करें तो वो तालुका में आता है. अगर हम दिल्ली की बात करें तो हमारे जो मेट्रोपॉलिटन कोर्ट्स हैं, सिविल कोर्ट्स भी हैं, क्रिमिनल कोर्ट्स भी हैं. जहाँ पे सिविल जज जूनियर डिवीजन होते हैं वो कोर्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस होता है उन मैटर्स के लिए जहाँ पे उनका जुरिस्डिक्शन है. क्रिमिनल मैटर्स की अगर हम बात करें तो उन मैटर्स में जहाँ पे नॉन कॉग्निजेबल नेचर के होते हैं, जहाँ पे इम्प्रिजनमेंट अप टू 3 years की होती है, उन कोर्ट्स के लिए कोर्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस, कोर्ट ऑफ मेट्रोपॉलिटन मजिस्ट्रेट होता है. एंड जो उनके सबॉर्डिनेट्स होते हैं, मेट्रोपॉलिटन मजिस्ट्रेट के जो सबॉर्डिनेट मजिस्ट्रेट्स होते हैं, वो उनके कोर्ट के फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस होते हैं. नाउ फ्रॉम हियर we move forward to district court and sessions court. Now people must have been confused why the term used as sessions and district, not just the district court or the sessions court. The difference lies in CRPC. CRPC has the definition of the court called sessions court, which hears the matter which are cognizable in nature and which the minimum imprisonment is 7 years. Like heinous crimes, it ranges from financial, not only heinous crime, it ranges from financial fraud to larger conspiracies to kidnapping, abetment, to suicide, murder, etc. and etc. As the list goes on. It ends up at murder. That is the penultimate crime which the society can see. That is a crime against society. Now from there, up till now, we deal with, in the sessions court or in the district court, we mostly deal with CRPC and CPC. That is Code of Civil Procedure and Code of Criminal Procedure. Then we further move up and we reach to the High Court. Now, High Court in itself is a very unique court as far as Indian structure is concerned. It has vast powers. It has so vast that the term being used for high courts is extraordinary jurisdiction. That is असाधारण jurisdiction जो इनका होता है हाई कोर्ट्स का. हाई कोर्ट्स कोर्ट ऑफ अपील भी होती है, कोर्ट ऑफ रिकॉर्ड भी होती है. हाई कोर्ट ऑफ अपील होती है सेशंस कोर्ट के लिए, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स के लिए. हाई कोर्ट ऑफ अपील होती है सर्टेन ट्राइब्यूनल्स के लिए, सारे ट्राइब्यूनल्स के लिए नहीं होती है, सर्टेन नेशनल ट्राइब्यूनल्स के लिए होती है. एनजीटी एक एक्सेप्शन है जिसकी अपील सीधा सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लाई करते हैं. सर्टेन केसेस में एनजीटी के ऑर्डर के खिलाफ भी आप हाई कोर्ट में जाते हैं, वो भी मैं आगे अभी आपको एक्सप्लेन करने वाला हूं. सो अगेन आई एम कमिंग बैक टू हाई कोर्ट. High Court has two areas. One is judicial, another is administrative. As far as judicial work is concerned, High Court is not subordinate to any court, including Supreme Court. In judicial work, High Court is not subordinate to Supreme Court. This is the point everyone should remember. So far as administrative side goes, High Court is subordinate to Supreme Court because the appointment of High Court judges is recommended by the Collegium of the Supreme Court. That is the sole reason why on the administrative side, High Courts are subordinate to Supreme Court. Now, High Court hears a vast variety of matters, and most important of those are constitutional matters. Under Article 226 and 227 of Indian Constitution and under Section 482 of CRPC and IPC. These powers are vested with the High Court. High courts can hear a matter within their own jurisdiction. One high court generally, one state generally has one high court, or maybe another benches like UP has 2 benches, or Maharashtra has 2 benches, or Madhya Pradesh has 2 benches. But one high court is for one state, every state, and that is the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction happens to be pecuniary and territorial both. Now, again, I am coming back to that point, whether High courts are subordinate to Supreme Court or not. Very recently, in a matter before the Kerala High Court, the learned Solicitor General of India was pressing a matter because something was taken up by the Supreme Court and wanted High Court to transfer the matter which was pending before the Kerala High Court to the Supreme Court. So when the learned Solicitor General pressed it for 3 times in a row, the Pusain judge who was hearing that matter, he got animated. He really got animated and very categorically said, Mr. Solicitor General, you are aware that we are not subordinate to Supreme Court. And then a debate started. Why high courts are not subordinate to Supreme Courts? See, India has a hierarchy of courts. And India is not a federation. India is a union of state. India is a union of state with central bias. Now, Supreme Court is constituted as a judicial body, topmost judicial body. Whatever orders the Supreme Court passes is binding upon all courts, including all the high courts. But again, it doesn't make a high court subordinate to the Supreme Court. The high court can make decisions, can take decisions so far as their territorial jurisdiction is concerned. And if there is any conflict between the judgment of the Supreme Court or the judgment of the High Court, ordinarily the judgment of Supreme Court prevails, but High Court can still issue clarifications and pass its own order. So High Court is basically not subordinate to Supreme Courts. We have seen the functioning of High Courts during this pandemic, how Delhi High Court puts the entire machinery into the motion, or how Maharashtra High Court did the same, or how Uttarakhand High Court is doing the same. When certain machinery is failing, the High Court is picking up. We as the officer of the courts take pride in it. Let's see, it was the job of someone else, something else, but our institution is doing it. We should take pride in it, but we should never encourage it. Because there is a basic minimal difference between judicial pronouncement and judicial activism. So that line always hangs into balance. So we must take pride, but we should not encourage it any further. Even our Presiding Judge of Supreme Court, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, has said it, that we are judges, our job is to pass orders. And we are really proud of our high courts, that these high courts are passing orders. Now, from high court, moving up to the Supreme Court. Now, that is the ultimate forum, the judicial forum that India has, our country has. Any matter which goes to Supreme Court attains finality. Whether review petitions are being filed or not, whether curative petitions are being filed or not, matter attains finality. There is no question about it. Like high courts, Supreme Court is also a court of appeal as well as court of records. Supreme Court hear all those matters which are either decided by Supreme Court or dismissed by Supreme Court under appeal. Under Article 136, Supreme Court has power to issue special leave applications for civil appeals or criminal appeals. But most important power of Supreme Court, most of these powers which I was discussing, you would have been aware of it. But one most significant power of Supreme Court is under Article 142. That power makes Supreme Court actually supreme in its nature and its context in which the Constitution of India has provided for. Now, what Article 142 does? I'm giving you one latest example. You must have heard about, all of you must have heard about farm laws. Now, everyone was surprised, even our learned Attorney General, our learned Solicitor General, parties for the farmers, they all were stand in the courtroom when Supreme Court invoked a power and stayed the operation of farm laws. Under what section it did or under what article it did, it was not mentioned in the order sheet itself. Supreme Court only said that, Mr. Counsels, you are aware that we have the power to do it. So now people started questioning the wisdom of Supreme Court on this, why Supreme Court passed this order, without getting into the facts that our Constitution gives certain rights to the Supreme Court, where it can decide matters which affects a larger part of the country without even a petition being filed before it. That power is under Article 142. Same power was exercised by the Supreme Court and it stayed the operation of farm laws. Another instance of 142 is very recent judgment of last year, that Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. That is again a very landmark judgment which was decided on the basis of Article 142. That was a civil suit. All my friends must have remembered it. That was a civil suit which was heard by a constitutional bench. Why a constitutional bench was created? Because a matter was required to attain finality. This matter was dragging on since long without any remedy, and it was causing huge turbulence in our country time and again. As of course we know that even though law and religion don't go hand in hand, because law only believes on evidences and religion only believes in the faith that one has. But yet, if a society is to be governed by the law, all its faith, all its beliefs must be protected. So Supreme Court stepped in and passed this order under Article 142. And now today the matter is settled. The finality of the matter is accepted by all the parties. The trouble has ended. Now one big temple is coming up. That's good for everybody. Not because I'm not saying because my name is a Hindu name. No, not on that basis. I am saying this because of that judgment, peace has been established in the entire Ayodhya. That is what Article 142 does. And that is where Supreme Court again stepped in as far as farm laws are concerned. Because if those farm laws were implemented, we know the unrest which India would have been facing even now. Up till now, farmers are just protesting. But we never know when this protest is going to erupt. But one order of Supreme Court under 142 made them calm and sit and then decide their course of action. So this is how courts function, this is how courts work, and this is how courts should be working. So far as majesty of Supreme Court is concerned, in a matter which was related to CBI, one of the government officers filed a petition before the Supreme Court. I'm not naming the judgment. I'm leaving it to you all to find out which judgment was judgment what is. I have written an article on farm laws also. I will share it to the law board team, and they will circulate it to you all, wherein I have discussed all these things, including that judgment which I am going to quote, which clearly established the majesty of Supreme Court even above the Parliament. In that case, using Article 142, Supreme Court very categorically stated, yes, we do not have powers to make laws. All right, Parliament has the power to make laws. It doesn't mean that we will remain mute spectator and will allow that something wrong is taking place in the name of some interpretation of some law. A law was in place that was misinterpreted, and thereafter abuse of that process was continuing. That judgment came in 1997 or 1998. I'll share the article that carries the entire thing. And there Supreme Court says that we can make laws if required. It's not that we are only dependent upon the Parliament or the legislature to make a law and give it to us to decide. No, if required, under 142, if we deem fit that some issue is to be decided once and for all, then yes, we can make laws. So there again, a debate started whether Supreme Court is taking over the powers which are vested to the Parliament, or Supreme Court is treading on a very thin line. No, it wasn't the case. Supreme Court merely exercised its powers. So powers are there, courts need to exercise it. And when courts exercise those powers, then debate starts, whether courts should be doing it or not, whether courts should be doing that or not. But courts did, and courts did all right. We have seen it, the Ram Mandir case, we have seen it in farm laws case. The ultimate institution, Supreme Court, we need to respect the ultimate institution of judiciary as well, not only Supreme Court. Right from the Court of Patwari, till the Court of Supreme Court, those are part of same structure, but for a hierarchy. Now recently a fresh concept has come up, not fresh, it was in place, but recently what happened, people started saying that these tribunals which are being created are creating unnecessary hurdles in justice delivery system. So some finance bill was also moved by some private members bill to repeal these tribunals. Now you all must have been wondering what these tribunals are actually. See, my friends, these tribunals are quasi-judicial bodies. These are not complete judicial forums. These are quasi-judicial bodies wherein some powers are vested of a particular area, so that burden of high courts are reduced. The whole idea behind creation of tribunals was to lessen the burdens of high courts. Currently, two tribunals are always in news. One is National Company Law Tribunal, that is NCLT, and another is National Green Tribunal, the NGT. Now, recently, the Bombay High Court had to pass an order stating that NCLT has no powers to bound down the hands of Supreme Court, and it was right. There, NCLT exercised its power in excess of its jurisdiction. These tribunals, even though some tribunals are not directly under the supervision and control of High Court, High Courts are not subordinate to them. High Courts are only and only answerable, not subordinate, to the Supreme Court. Recently, NGT has emphasized on initiating environmental damages compensation on big industrial units, even smaller industrial units, and the fine is ranging between, say, 5 lakhs to 5 crores. In some instances, it ranges up to 100 crores. Now, the debate started whether NGT has the power or not. who will decide it. If NGT passes an order, one has to just rush back to the Supreme Court, which is not affordable to all. We all know that even though Supreme Court is our highest forum, filing a case in Supreme Court takes a lot of money. It is an expensive agenda for every litigant or every prospective litigant. And obviously, it is very lucrative for us lawyers. If you want to practice in Supreme Court, you got to be very sound as far as legal provisions are concerned, and you got to be making hell lot of money if you are practicing before the Supreme Court. So that's a dream every lawyer has. Every lawyer has to practice it before. So Supreme Court delegated some of its powers to High Court, not through statute, not through law, but through judgments, through orders. And NGT started exercising it. NGT passed certain orders. Now, I got a flooding of petitions in 2019 and 20, beginning of 20. 50, 60 odd petitions came to me in all the administrative authority, that is the Delhi Pollution Control Committee. They have imposed fines and penalty, and there was mention of an NGT order, that on the basis of this NGT order you are being penalized. So clients were suggesting me that we need to move to the Supreme Court or move to the High Court. Now I'm coming to the point which Mr. Rohit Pandey was emphasizing. What section you need to see, what section you need to invoke, what is the authority, who is the authority that passed that order, what is the code that you are going to select. These points were emphasized by Mr. Rohit Pandey very lucidly. Now I'm coming to that. I'm sharing a very good experience with you. So I was just going through the notice time and again. One notice I picked up and I was reading it. Whether I should be going in under section 16 of NGT, or whether I should be going to Supreme Court. High Court was never in picture in my mind. Then I saw that that order was passed under some sections of an act, Air Act and Water Act. I picked up those acts and saw what powers does the authority have. Now, authority was having power to seal it. Authority was having the power to close it. Authority was having the power to disconnect the electricity and water. But from nowhere, authority was getting any power to impose environmental damages compensation. And then and there, I decided I'm going to the High Court, Delhi High Court. I started drafting the petitions. 2 days later, petitions were drafted. Before that was before COVID times. So 24 hours time was good enough for a petition to be listed. And believe me when I say, altogether 37 cases were listed in 2 days or 3 days maybe, and all were disposed of in first hearing. There was not even a requirement of filing one single counter affidavit, because the authority passed those orders in exercise of in excess jurisdiction, not in the jurisdiction which they were granted by the act. Similarly, the order passed by NGT, those orders are still standing. On the basis of those orders, whenever a case is being filed, I don't know about others. I personally rush to the High Court and get the orders. So everything is connected. Everything is connected. Your drafting skill, your legal acumen, whatever you are learning while being in the program of internship, what you are learning while remaining as a junior to some counsel. So everything is connected, and these experiences that we share, I mean, I trust you. These are golden words. We were not that lucky. I don't know. Mr. Rohit Pandey was also not that lucky. I was also not that lucky. Now, how to draft a petition is well and lucidly explained by Mr. Rohit Pandey. I'm just taking 5 minutes time to emphasize the importance of drafting itself. Why a lawyer should be good or fluent or efficient in drafting. You remember the first or second line which Mr. Rohit Pandey said? He said that a draft is synthesis of your case. So once you have drafted a petition, and that petition is filed, your case is sealed. Your case is sealed completely. Now, whatever is to be decided is on the basis of the same draft. If court is coming to know the fact that there is some lacunae in the drafting, then what happens? Your reputation as a lawyer is put on stake. Now, once and for all, before that judge, the impression is always there that this lawyer, he doesn't draft things in a particular manner, whether he can secure relief for the client. So we need to avoid it. Mr. Rohit Pandey again emphasized one point wherein he said that you need to think like a judge. I would like to add one more thing into it. While drafting a petition, think like a judge and also think like the opposite counsel. Whatever points you are putting forward, whatever incorporations that you are giving to your plaint, to your contentions, what are the questions that can be asked from you by the judge, by the opposite counsel? How the rebuttal will come to you? What kind of rebuttal you are going to face? How you are going to prove your point? So once you are visualizing all those things in your brain, in your mind, you are sorted. Your draft will be absolutely perfect. And if your draft is perfect, you can argue the matter. And if you can argue the matter well, you can win the cases. So drafting is of paramount importance. Never ever neglect it. I think I have taken enough of your time and we should start with the question answer session. And I take this opportunity to thank the team of Legal Abode and Mr. Rohit Pandey. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Yeah, let's get on with the question answer session.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all the insight. We'll start with the questions, and before we start, I would like to say this, that we have received a lot of questions that deal with how can we secure internships. For that, I would like to answer by saying that it is the initiative of Legal Abode to provide internships to law students who are not being able to secure them on their own. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube. You can connect with us. You can contact us for any kind of internship opportunities in Delhi. We also provide virtual internship opportunities. Now we'll start with the questions. The first question is by Vivek Chaudhary, and he's asking, in which court internship should be started?
Mr. Rohit Pandey.
You explained very well.
Thank you.
And to all interns. That would be better.
Okay. See, internship can be started from any court. See, there is no bar. There is no bar that you cannot go to the High Court or you cannot go to the Supreme Court as far as internship is concerned. So far as, if you consider my recommendation, you should start your internship with the trial court. Because unless or until you are not understanding the basics of law, you will not be a good lawyer, trust me. So always start your internship with the trial court level. You know, you will understand the nitties and gritties of the basic laws, the civil laws and the criminal laws. And as you move forward, you will come to High Court and Supreme Court later on. You can plan your internship. Like if you are in a 5-year course, in 3rd year you can go for trial court. In 4th year you can go for this High Court level, and in the 5th year you can go for Supreme Court. Similarly, if you are in 3 years law course, again you can utilize all these 3 years. So it entirely depends upon you. But if you want to learn, go to the trial court first.
Thank you, sir. The next question is by Archie Singhal. Sir, there are many colleges in which students don't get the chance to do moot courts, and so they don't get the experience of that. So from where such persons should start the internship?
See, moot courts or no moot courts, internship is no bar, not dependent upon the moot courts. You can apply to the lawyers. You can search on Google what kind of lawyers, or you must have had certain conferences in your college where lawyers are coming and delivering lectures. You can discuss it with them. You can discuss it with the bar associations that is there in your area. If you are in Delhi, you can discuss this with the Bar Association of Delhi, with the Bar Association of District Bar Associations, and you can get your internship. Moot courts are not dependent upon, internship is not dependent upon the moot courts. It's up to the student how they want to take it forward. They can ask their management of their law college to send their recommendation for the internship also. So there is no relation between moot courts and internship.
Next, Manisha Yadav is asking, in which year of LLB students should go for the internship? Can it be first year?
Yeah, it can be first year. If it is a 5-year course, I will not suggest or I will not recommend first year, because you attain certain kind of maturity as a person also while entering into your 3rd year of 5-year course. As far as 3-year course is concerned, you can certainly go for first year, go for internship from the first year. But for the 5-year course, go from the 3rd year, because if you want to be taken seriously, choose it for the 3rd year.
Arvind Patel is asking, क्या language matter करती है practice के लिए?
लैंग्वेज ऐसा नहीं है कि मैटर नहीं करती, लैंग्वेज मैटर करती है, लेकिन लैंग्वेज एक बैरियर नहीं होती है. आप अपनी बात को कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं, और हम जिस प्रोफेशन में हैं हमें हर दिन सीखना होता है, तो क्यों ना थोड़ी सी भाषा भी सीख ली जाए. कभी कोई परेशानी नहीं आती है. और अगर आपको परेशानी आती है, जैसा कि रोहित पांडे जी ने बताया था अपने लेक्चर की डिलीवरी के टाइम पे, आप वेटिंग के लिए या सजेशंस के लिए यू शुड बी ओपन, तो आप हेल्प भी ले सकते हैं. जहां आप 2 ड्राफ्ट कर लेंगे, लैंग्वेज आपके लिए बैरियर नहीं रहेगा, और सीखना आपके ऊपर है, बिल्कुल आपके ऊपर है.
Thank you, sir. Akshita is asking, is there different drafts for district court and high court and Supreme Court?
Formats are provided. These are governed by High Court rules. These drafts of petitions are governed by High Court rules, and High Court rules provide how the draft should be. So yes, for a civil suit to be drafted at district court level, it's slightly different from the one we filed at High Court. Similarly, bail application filed before the Supreme Court is slightly different to what we file in the High Court level. So yes, drafts are different, slightly different, but different.
Okay. Anjali Roy is asking, what type of case comes under Court of Appeal?
What kind of case comes under Court of Appeal? The name itself says Court of Appeal. Means you have an order which is passed by a judicial body. So once a judicial body passes an order, that goes to a Court of Appeal. So if a district court is passing an order, it goes to the High Court. So that is a Court of Appeal. If High Court is passing an order, it goes to the Supreme Court, because that is a Court of Appeal. District Court is not a Court of Appeal. Still, appeals are being filed. First appellate court is always the district court so far as jurisdiction, pecuniary jurisdiction is concerned.
Monica Singh is asking, if a 3-judge bench of High Court has given any decision, then can the decision of the High Court be overruled by division bench of Supreme Court?
Yes, it can be. Judicial hierarchy puts Supreme Court above the High Court. Judicial hierarchy, without disturbing this superior and subordination thing.
Next, Akrishi Jain is asking how.
Yes. I think your voice is not reaching me, Devdatta.
There is some problem, I think.
Yeah, there's some connectivity problem, I suppose.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay.
And anything.
Okay, I can see the questions till Devdatta Das comes back. I can see the questions in the call messages. So I'm going to take those.
Sir,
Yeah.
there's some network issue with Devdatta. No problem. I'll take it over here, sir.
Ujjwal, you take it, Ujjwal.
Yes, sir. So I'll raise the question, sir.
Okay.
So the question is asked by Akarshi Jain. She's asking, how am I supposed to build my CV so that I can get an internship at top tier firms?
See, CV writing is a different professional game altogether. All right. We can see that you can prepare your biodata, explaining the kind of skill set that you possess while studying. If you are good at research, if you are good at drafting, if you are good at English writing, I should not say use the word drafting while studying for or going for internship. If you have good skill set of English writing, if you have good skill set of research, you can mention it. You can get a recommendation from your college and then go for internship. Top tier law firm, I'm not sure, but yes, you will get one. I'm not sure about top tier law firm. I sent my CVs randomly and I was selected by Singhania. That was a random thing. I don't know how and why they selected, but somehow they selected me. So it's all a fair game. You need to apply to everywhere.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is by Vivek Chaudhary. He's asking if anyone suffering from stammering or any type of fluency, then it's barrier or it can be overcome.
It can be overcome. Nothing is a barrier. As I told you, nothing is a barrier. Judges are very accommodative. I have seen many advocates having this issue of stammering, but they never hesitate in appearing before the court. I've seen many advocates having this barrier of language, but they always overcome it. They come before the court prepared completely, and I mean, they're doing fairly well. They are doing fairly well. So nothing is a barrier. Always take this out of your mind that anything is a barrier. You can overcome anything.
You're absolutely right in this, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is by Deepti Kant. So she's asking how to learn drafting on our own. Which book should be read to overcome and become good in drafting?
Well, book for drafting. I think if I'm personally, I have never ever referred to any book as far as drafting is concerned. I started drafting. I got the petitions. I went through the disposed of cases. I saw how those were drafted and started doing it. So, but I think your case, your college would have been provided you a list of books. You should refer to those. We are not here to recommend any author. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right, sir. So the next question is by Naman Kulshresht. He's asking, like, in the recent difficult times when ideally one can't approach the trial or court or any court, could you recommend any strategy from where to start with?
Currently, when pandemic is raging, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The strategy is to wait. See, there are very few offices who are offering online internship because online internship is as good as nothing, right? So all you need to do is to concentrate. You can search for the Google. You can still visit the court libraries if you can get a recommendation from your college and study there. You will get the petitions, draft of petitions. You can have constitutional law debates. You concentrate on those and wait for the tough times to get over. Because internship can take place only once the courts are fully functional. Right now, courts are opening and then again getting closed. Everyone is concerned about the health of himself, health of his family members, health of the others who are meeting them. So yes, these are difficult times, and I think one of the skill set of advocacy is waiting also. One of the skill set of advocacy is waiting also. So you need to wait.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right, sir. The patience is the key.
Yes.
So the next question is, sir, from Payal Gupta. He's asking, like, is there any difference between the internships in law firms and under lawyers in courts?
Yes, there is a massive difference. Under lawyers in courts, you get the feel of the courts. You get the feel of the petitions. You get the first-hand experience of petitions, the clients, the courtroom itself, the smell of courtroom. You get all those things if you are taking internship before with a counsel. If you go to a law firm, you are reduced to a researcher first. You hardly get to interact even with other interns because you will be burdened with a lot of paperwork. Paperwork and paperwork and paperwork. That is all about internship before the law firms. Filling of courts, filling of real courts. as far as internship with the councils or the advocates practicing in the court is concerned. So there is a difference, a massive difference.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the next question is by Varun Verma. He's asking, refer best book for reading judgments like on bail and some other criminal cases which we can use before the court of law as reference.
Very simple. Ask him to take the subscription of SEC online. He will get everything.
Yeah, exactly, sir. I'll ask him, sir. So the next question is, sir, being a first-year student of a 3-year LLB course, how should we ensure that we get internship at top law firms next year?
Well, in law, we have been taught that contingent contracts are not valid, right? So we can, and so far as this question is concerned, this is contingent in nature. But still, one should try his or her best to secure good marks first in the first year examination, both the semesters, then try to get into extracurricular activities which are offered in first year, like beggars court, like moot court, like lok adalat, etc. If they are having it, then for the second year they can approach a good tier 1 law firm and they can take their chances. But as I say, starting from the first year for the second year, it is very contingent. It is dependent upon many variables. First of those variables is how much you are scoring in your first year.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we are left with last 2 questions, sir. So the second last question is by Tanmay Krishna Srivastav. He's asking, like, how to get a bail if a person is convicted under 302 double murder and High Court refused the bail twice. So he's basically asking regarding the grounds for the bail, sir.
Grounds for the bail. See, in this case, bail is not possible, parole is possible, right? So if something untoward is happening in the family, then some leeway is granted. Person can be granted a period of, say, 10 days or 15 days or 25 days or maybe a month to visit the family and stay with the family under the supervision, of course, of the local police station. But bail is, see, if a person is convicted, bail is not granted. As simple as that. Bail is only prior to conviction. Parole is granted once the accused is convicted and is lost inside a jail or a prison.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the last question is is asked by Manish Lohia. He's asking, Supreme Court internship or in a law firm tier 1, which one is better in terms of learning?
See, as far as learning is concerned, both are good, depending upon what kind of future that internee sees for himself. If he wants to be a part of a law firm, a setup of a law firm, obviously law firm is good for him. If he thinks or she thinks that no, he or she needs to be in the litigation, then obviously internship at Supreme Court is better. So these are very subjective questions which can't be answered in yes or no. For some, internship at Supreme Court is good because they want to be litigating lawyers. For some, internship at law firm is good because they want to be the part of law firm ecosystem. So it is very subjective. It depends upon the individual.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we are flooded with questions. If you allow me, then we are flooded with questions. If you allow me, then we can go for 2 or 3 more questions. If not, then we'll close it and we'll forward the questions to you to answer later.
Sure, we can have 2-3 questions now. Ask Mr. Rohit Pandey, are you comfortable with it?
No problem. But think is that I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Question कभी खत्म नहीं होने वाले हैं.
Yeah, right.
They are brilliant, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You believe me, one day will come, those who are listening you, they will become a big lawyer or a judge. I'm telling you. I'm telling you frankly, they all are brilliant.
Marking your words.
But they don't know where we have to go, where we have to join, how we do it accordingly. So these are the things we have to think over it. ये सभी जितने भी हैं, ये मुझे लगता है कि किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है लैंग्वेज की. कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो लैंग्वेज की प्रॉब्लम भी हो सकती है, जैसे अभी जो क्वेश्चंस आए, लैंग्वेज की प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं है.
कुछ भी नहीं है.
When you read the judgments, any kind of judgments, डेली का आप प्लान कर लो कि आपको जजमेंट पढ़ने हैं, एक दिन में एक जजमेंट आपको डेली का देखना ही करना है, और वो आपको क्या हेल्प करेगा, यू कांट बिलीव इट, आप बिलीव नहीं कर सकते आप। और बेल के ग्राउंड्स कैसे होंगे कैसे नहीं होने हैं, ये डिपेंड करता है आपके मैटर्स में, ये डिपेंड करता है कि वो उस केस का नेचर क्या है, उस ऑफेंस का क्या है, वो एफआईआर में क्या है, एफआईआर की बेसिस पे, चार्जशीट के बेसिस पे आप जब डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपको मिलेगा ना, तो आपको ऑटोमेटिकली आपको बेल के ग्राउंड्स मिलेंगे। कोई फिक्स नहीं होता है किसी भी मैटर में, कोई भी बेल एप्लीकेशन अगर आपको मूव करना है तो, मैंने कल भी कुछ इंटर्न्स को यही सिखा रहा था, मैं बता रहा था कि सर ड्राफ्टिंग का क्या करना है। तो ड्राफ्टिंग का मतलब है कि लोअर कोर्ट्स में अगर आप जाते हैं, लोअर कोर्ट में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट में बेल एप्लीकेशन अगर आपको लगानी है, डिपेंड करता है सेक्शन पे, बेलेबल ऑफेंस है, नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस है, कंपाउंडेबल ऑफेंस है, नॉन कंपाउंडेबल ऑफेंस है, कॉग्निजेबल है, नॉन कॉग्निजेबल है, ट्राइबल बाय मजिस्ट्रेट है, ट्राइबल बाय सेशन जज है। ये देखिए, ये एक आपका ये इतना इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट होता है। When you go into all this thing, then you can understand easily. और अगर आप पूछते रहेंगे, पूछना नहीं है, पूछना तो आपको तब होगा, क्वेश्चन तो आपके माइंड में तब फ्रेम होना चाहिए जब आप जब तक उसके डीप में नहीं जाओगे। हर एक सवाल का जवाब जो आप पूछते हैं, कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, हम खुद पढ़ते भी नहीं, लेकिन सवाल हमारे मन में आता है। हर एक चीज का जवाब पढ़ने में ही है, हर एक चीज का जवाब आपकी बुक्स में है, आपके 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 एप्लीकेशंस में है, आपकी जजमेंट्स में। मैंने राहुल जी, मैं तो हम लोग तो, मैं तो बताता भी यही बताता हूँ लोगों को कि एफआईआर अगर आप एक बार पढ़ते हो तो आपका एक बार एक सवाल मिलता है आपको, 100 बार पढ़ोगे आपको 100 सवाल मिलेंगे आपको।
एब्सोल्युटली।
आप एक पेज की एफआईआर को आप जब देखोगे ना, आप उसको सोचो जरा कि आपको ये लगना चाहिए कि वो एफआईआर, वो इंसिडेंट जब था, उस टाइम का जो प्लेस ऑफ एक्रेंस था, या जब इंसिडेंट हुआ है, आपको ये सोचना है कि मैं था वहां पे।
एब्सोल्युटली।
जब आपकी थिंकिंग उस लेवल पे जाएगी ना कि उस इंसिडेंट को मैंने देखा अपने आंख से, जो क्लाइंट आपको बताना चाह रहा है, जो एक्यूज्ड आपको बताना चाह रहा है, जो फंसा हुआ है, उसको रिलीफ देने के लिए आपको उस सेंस में जाना है, उस लेवल पे जाना है जहां वो इंसिडेंट हुआ था। फिर आप पॉइंट्स बना पाओगे, अदरवाइज तो एक डिफिकल्ट रहता है। फिर आपको फॉर्मेटिंग में छोटा से 2 पेज की एप्लीकेशन बनाई, क्लाइंट के सेटिस्फेक्शन के लिए करना है। बट ये कि चार्जशीट देखो आप, कितने चार्जशीट में एक पुलिस की एक पूरी बनाई हुई चार्जशीट होती है, 161 का स्टेटमेंट उसने रिकॉर्ड करना होता है। वो उसी रिकॉर्ड को जब 164 में कोर्ट में जाता है, कोर्ट में जब उसकी गवाही होती है, उसका विटनेस होता है, जब वहां पे एग्जामिनेशन इन चीफ होता है, क्रॉस एग्जामिन होता है, तो रियलिटी कुछ और होती है,
फर्क हो जाता है।
प्रैक्टिस आपको उसी टाइम पे आएगा कि एक लॉयर की प्रैक्टिस क्या है, सच को सच और झूठ को झूठ निकालना करना, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी करना, तभी तो लॉयर एंगेज किए जाते हैं।
और कई बार ये भी होता है रोहित भाई कि अगर आप एफआईआर को ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं तो आपको एफआईआर में ही इतने कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस मिल जाते हैं कि आप चार्ज पे ही डिस्चार्ज करा ले जाते हैं अपने क्लाइंट को।
एब्सोल्युटली। ये होता है और कुछ नहीं करना है। और मैं आपको एक बात भी बताता हूँ जो अभी राहुल जी ने बहुत अच्छे से बताया, जो इंटर्नशिप की है। आप देखिए, अभी तो ऑनलाइन का एक थोड़ा सा वर्चुअल मोड में हम सभी लोग आ गए, कोर्ट भी वर्चुअल है, सारी चीजें आपकी फाइलिंग वर्चुअल हो गई है, ऑनलाइन हो गई है, ई फाइलिंग हो गई है। तो अब थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्ट जॉब है उनके लिए, जो नए जूनियर्स हैं, जो अभी जो इंटर्न्स हैं, क्योंकि जब तक फिजिकली और ऑफलाइन करके आप नहीं आओगे तो वो आपको ऑनलाइन कुछ नहीं मिलना। ऑनलाइन तो आज भी आप रिसर्च कर रहे हैं,
एब्सोल्युटली।
टेक्निकली अगर देखो तो आप लोग इतने एक्सपर्ट हो, आपको हर चीज पता है कि ये नेट से क्या निकालना है, सोशल मीडिया से में एक्टिव रहते हो, आप हर चीज में एक्टिव रहते हो। आपको कोई चीज बतानी नहीं है कि एससीसी ऑनलाइन क्या है, मनुपात्रा ऑनलाइन क्या है, ये सब चीजें क्या, कैसे, कहाँ से जजमेंट निकलने। और आपने अगर इतने एक्सपर्ट है, हमारे यहाँ इंटर्न्स आते हैं, उनको एक लाइन आप कल ही बता दो कि इस पे जजमेंट निकालना है, इस पे जरा कुछ पॉइंट्स बना लो, उनको 10 मिनट नहीं लगता निकालने में।
राइट।
यू नो ईच एंड एवरीथिंग, बट आपको प्रैक्टिस लर्निंग अभी बताया ना राहुल जी ने कि लर्निंग जो है लॉयर के लिए, लर्निंग पूरी लाइफ चलेगी। लिटिगेशन में अगर आना है, क्योंकि ये देखिए ये आपका एक प्रोफेशन, नोबल प्रोफेशन है ये। अब हम प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं, हमें हर दिन कोई एक नई एफआईआर हमारे पास आती है, हर दिन नए सिविल डिस्प्यूट्स हमारे पास आते हैं। ये नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स, ये आपको इस चीज का क्रेज और इस चीज का आपको स्पेशली आपको जो आप गेन करोगे, आप जो अपने कॉन्फिडेंस को बिल्डअप करोगे, करने जा रहे हो, ये आपको कोर्ट्स में मिलेगा। जो उन्होंने बोला है कि लॉ फर्म्स में और कोर्ट्स में क्या फर्क है, यही फर्क है। जो डिफरेंस है यही है कि आप लॉ फर्म्स में जाते हो ना, तो आप पहले भी रिसर्च कर रहे थे, आज भी आप वहां जाकर रिसर्च करते हो।
Absolutely.
आपको कोई गाइड करने वाला नहीं मिल रहा है वहां, आपको गाइड करने वाला कोई है भी तो उनका क्लर्क है, उनका सेक्रेटरी है, और वही लोग मिलेंगे, वही इंटर्न्स आपको वहां मिलेंगे जिनको खुद भी नहीं पता क्या करना, और सुबह जाते हैं और शाम को वापस लौटते हैं। तो कोई टारगेट दिया जाता है, वो टारगेट को मीट आउट करते हैं, इतना ही है। तो ओवरऑल हमारे पास टाइम बहुत होता है। ये जो इंटर्नशिप है, राहुल जी ने कहा कि इसे गंवाना नहीं है, हमें इससे हटना नहीं है। इस टाइम को अगर आपने लॉस किया, इसमें आप सीरियस नहीं रहे, तो मुझे लगता है कि फिर आपको स्ट्रगल करना पड़ेगा, जो हमारे टाइम पे हम लोगों ने स्ट्रगल किया। हम लोगों को 10 साल लग गए कोर्ट को समझने में, 10 साल लग गए क्लाइंट बनाने में, 10 साल लग गए ये समझने में कि मैटर है क्या, फाइलिंग होती कैसी है, कोर्ट्स होते कैसे हैं, जजेस पूछते क्या है, आर्गुमेंट्स किस लेवल पे होता है। ये हमें 10 साल लग गया, लेकिन आप लोगों को वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं आने वाली है। आप लोगों के लिए जो मैंडेटरी कर दिया ना इंटर्नशिप, ये चीज करने को, लेकिन बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, बहुत सारे इंटर्न्स जो सीरियस नहीं है। मैं आपको फ्रैंकली बता रहा हूं कि वो फेस करेंगे, देखना एक दिन आके। वो जो टाइम, आज का टाइम वो गंवा रहे हैं, खराब कर रहे होंगे, वो आगे इनको बहुत प्रॉब्लम देने वाली है। ये जो टाइम है, इसको आप 5 इयर्स कोर्स कर रहे थे, 3 इयर्स कोर्स करने वाले हैं, इनको इसी टाइम पे ही एक आपको ऐसा, आपको बस केवल अपीयरेंस ही तो नहीं मिल रहा है कोर्ट में, राहुल जी, केवल अपीयरेंस ही तो नहीं मिल रहा है इनको।
नहीं
भाई लाइसेंस नहीं है तो इसलिए अपीयरेंस नहीं मिल रहा, बाकी तो ये कर सकते हैं,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
कर सकते हैं, प्रोसीडिंग देख सकते हैं, फाइलिंग कर सकते हैं, क्लाइंट हैंडलिंग कर सकते हैं।
एब्सोल्युटली
अपीयरेंस ही तो रह गया आपके पास,
एब्सोल्युटली
वो आ जाएगा। ये जब तीनों चीजें आपको, फाइलिंग, ड्राफ्टिंग और क्लाइंट हैंडलिंग अगर आपको आ गया, तो अपीयरेंस में कितना टाइम लगना है? 6 मंथ।
और क्या, the moment you are getting clients you will get yourself before the court. यहाँ मैं एक चीज बोलूंगा, आई एम सीइंग निकेश कुमार चतुर्वेदी has raised his hand for so long, so just have his question before we say thanks to each other. Can we have his question? Nikesh Kumar
Yes, sir.
Chhatrapati.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as you know that we are suffering from pandemic from last 1.5 year, and we are in the final year students. Then what is the suggestion regarding the internship, and how can we get the internship in physical mode? Because we are in the final year student. After then we have enrolled in the Bar Council of India, and we have to directly face the court. So what is the suggestion regarding this?
I think I have already answered this, Nikesh, because till the time
Yes,
courts are not functioning fully at its optimum level, internships are not possible. Because at this time, having more people in office means more people are being exposed, putting lives at risk. So this is for the better good of everyone, that lesser and lesser physical activity is being undertaken. We know that every day we are getting warning about third wave and third wave, ensuing third wave, inevitable third wave. ICMR is issuing warning, Indian Health Ministry is issuing warning, the WHO is issuing warning. So I empathize with you that you are into your third year and yet to undergo an internship. But still, I think these are tough times, and you got to live with the fact that during the course of pandemic, you completed your law and couldn't get an internship. I'm sorry, this could be harsh, but I'm sorry, this is the fact. If today someone is coming to me and asking for an internship, I have to politely refuse. because I cannot put myself at risk. I cannot put the other person at risk. It's as simple as that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for response.
चलिए वाइंड अप करते हैं.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was very experiencing. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
क्लोजिंग.
इट वाज वेरी नाइस सर. आप लोग एक तरह से ब्लेसिंग ही हो सर दोनों, क्योंकि हम लोगों को इतनी नॉलेज भी नहीं है, और जब मिलता है कोई इतना नॉलेजेबल पर्सन्स मिलते हैं सर, तो क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं, और उसको इतने कम टाइम में आप लोगों को इतनी जल्दी तरह समझा देते हो, तो वो भी काफी अच्छा है सर. वो भी मतलब बहुत नॉलेज देता है. सो
अच्छा लगा ये जान करके कि आपको अच्छा लगा.
हाँ जी सर, सबको लगा है सर. सबको अभी अलाउ नहीं कर सकते बोलने के लिए.
कोई समझा रहा है और आपको समझ में आ रहा है, ये बड़ी बात है. लोग समझना नहीं चाह रहे, इसलिए प्रॉब्लम होती है.
हाँ जी सर. जी सर, बिल्कुल सही है.
तो ये अच्छा है कि आप लोग इतने इंटेलिजेंट हो और इतने ब्रिलियंट हो. आप लोगों को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी आने वाले टाइम पे. पर ये है कि आपको एक प्लानिंग करके चलना है. मुझे लगता है कि फ्यूचर में कभी करियर बनाने में तो आपको प्रॉब्लम आएगी.
जी सर, बिल्कुल. बस आप लोगों का गाइडेंस रहेगा तो बिल्कुल नहीं आएगी सर, क्योंकि
हमेशा
सीखते रहेंगे आप लोगों से सर.
राहुल भाई, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर
Thank you.
गिविंग मी so much टाइम.
अरे सर, एनी टाइम,
और
एनी टाइम.
मुझे लगता
Always for
है
you.
इनके लिए बहुत अच्छा होगा. और नेक्स्ट कोई सेशन होगा तो फिर से दोबारा कॉल करेंगे हम आपको.
Most my pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure.
चलिए फिर फ्री होते हैं लोग.
Okay, bye bye. Bye everyone.
बाय.
बाय सर. थैंक यू सर.
Close, I would just like to say a few words about Legal Adobe again. I would like to show all of you our work. So we also provide legal aid, and we provide internships. So any of you who might be interested in internships, please contact us. Please follow us on YouTube and Instagram for internships. And you can, if you have any more questions, you can also send that in the feedback form that has been provided. The link has been already shared with you. And these are some of the pictures that we took in our last visit. Please join us. Please connect with us. Thank you.
सो दिस इज फॉर एवरीवन. हम लोगों के आप लोग इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल और यूट्यूब हैंडल फॉलो कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि फ्यूचर में जो भी वेबिनार्स होंगे आप लोगों को पहले से मालूम रहेगा, तो आप उनको फॉलो कर सकते हैं. ऑल्दो विल इवन शेयर अ फीडबैक लिंक ग्रुप पर, तो आप उस पर फीडबैक भी दे सकते हैं कि आप हमें बताएं कि हम किस तरह इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. सो दैट्स ऑल. ओके, थैंक यू.